back to another DDL Main League live stream with your host Cloms, and I'm joined here today with Spanish. How you doing today, Span?
Dude, I am chilling so hard today. It's actually like not even funny.
Let's go. Yeah, no, this is a big matchup. This is uppers of the Rotom Conference play-ins between Lilycove and Citadark. Citadark actually beat out Crass going into week 9 and secured that second spot in his division. So now he gets a second chance at play-ins here, and I think he's trying to shoot for playoffs. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's this on paper. This might look like a bad matchup for Crimson, and I'm pretty sure it is. Um, but like I'm looking forward to it. This determines who I have to play against soon in the end of plans, and so this I actually have investment in this. You're just commentating. This actually like impacts me. And so no matter the outcome, I'm kind of it's looking like a win-win for me. I either get to beat Nimble next week or whenever the fuck we play, or I get a free win on Crimson. So it's win-win.
Right. And I think there's things to be said about both teams. Obviously, Citadark was losing a lot of games. They were struggling a lot during the regular season. But we did see them pick up that Week 9 game, and now they get a second chance here. And on Lilycove's side, uh, they started off pretty weak. They had a very strong midseason, and they skid with, like, I think three losses. Two losses? I don't remember, but to close out the season. And so now they're the third seed in the Rotom Conference, leaving them in play-ins, and now they're trying to win and get to play Dakota in a best of 5 series, I believe. So yeah, no, it's going to be a very exciting one. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and talk about the teams.
Oh well, so I mean, on the one hand, we see Nimble, bringing what has I'm pretty sure been the exact team he's brought to every game so far for the past like 4 weeks with some minor adjustments, right? But it's the typical Trick Room slash Tailwind team, right? He brings the Golurk and then he has just a bunch of support. He's got Fake Out, he's got Trick Room, he's got Magic Bounce, he's got Chilly Reception. Although we don't see Bear Tick this week. We do see Weavile, but Weavile still gets that defense boost, which might matter here. I mean, it seems kind of like it's really weak here into Crimson's team. It gets hit hard by a lot of things, but we'll see. Um, and I mean, obviously, there's the Hydreigon, and although it doesn't necessarily have Tailwind, it's had Tailwind for the most part, so you never know. And on Crimson's end, we've got something weirder for him to bring. Actually, he usually brings the T-Tar. He's opted out of that and instead brought not instead, but he has brought the Rotom, and so it's kind of gonna be interesting because one team has infinite forms of speed control, and I'm pretty sure Crimson has barely any. Like, sure, Skarmory gets Tailwind, but do you really want to be clicking Tailwind on your Skarmory Mega?
And I think there's something to be said about Decidueye here. I think it actually is a pretty decent matchup and everything that's not a Weavile. And I think it also has the ability
Oh,
to
Hydreigon.
reverse Trick Room, if I'm not mistaken.
Does Decidueye get Trick Room?
I have no clue. Um, I was just spitballing, low key. But yeah, no. Either way, it gets some form of speed control and tailwind, and I'm sure there's a taunter on the Citadark team somewhere, just because you don't want to be able to like let Lilycove get that Trick Room up, right? But at the same time, he has some fairly slow mons, but not very many at all. So it's looking like a very tailwind heavy matchup for Citadark here, and it's very interesting to see how he's going to play into this Lilycove that loves to spam Trick Room for the most part.
I mean, yeah, we've seen Room Service Tyrantrum before, right? I'm wondering maybe we see Iron Ball. That doesn't seem likely, but we could just see the Room Service again. Obviously, he's got Clefable, which is a pretty good support in Trick Room. I don't actually personally think it's really good against Trick Room. But I mean, we'll see, right? Rotom's like iffy in Trick Room. It's not like untrick room viable, but it's not good in it. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, we all expect Lilycove to take the win here, but I mean, Crimson's pulled out some impressive games in the past. So who knows?
I think for me, this
Just
Clefable is actually one of the mons I'm looking out for, just because it has that ability to spam Moonblast into a lot of these mons for free, and it hits Weavile and Hydreigon, two very important mons for Nimble here, like super effectively. And if it's in Trick Room, you have the ability to like outspeed a couple of these mons, right? So I think it's a
yeah,
very strong potential mon here for Citadark. But on the
uh,
Lilycove side, obviously he loves Trick Room. He loves Tailwind on that Hydreigon, and he loves his fake out support. That's been the story all season, and it seems he's sticking with it. Another one. Obviously, this Hatterene, it did carry its weight in a couple games this season, but we've seen it kind of slack off a little bit in the back half of the season here. So I'd be interested to see if it can actually do something here against this team. Obviously, it's got a couple of good type matchups into Infernape and Tyranitar. Not necessarily Infernape because of the fire type making it resist fairy typing, but it also has the psychic stab, so it will be able to hit it that way. And then it hits everything else for neutral except for Skarmory, but he could have Mystical Fire. Ooh, I don't think it actually gets Mystical Fire in Champions for Skarmory.
does it not? No, it definitely gets. Surely it gets some form of fire type coverage. No,
I always get confused with Sylveon.
you know, just mythical fire.
Okay, so that is a potential option here for this Hatterene as well. On the other side, or on the other Mons here, we got Raichu. Obviously, it's a really good fake out. It's really good for like stalling out certain forms of speed control, and then sometimes being able to just like disrupt game flow for other teams. And same for Weavile here, but it helps hit into that Decidueye really nicely. It helps hit into that Tyrantrum pretty nicely. And yeah, no, I'm interested to see exactly how Lilycove plans to utilize both these mons today. And as for Slowking, we've seen it kind of be his primary Trick Room setter over the last few weeks, and it's paid off pretty big. Like it's consistently getting those Trick Rooms up, but we'll have to see how it does today. And then
Yeah,
if we even need to talk about Mega Golaric, it was currently leading the MVP standings for most valuable Pokemon with I believe 16 KOs. So
I
this
think
thing's
it's
just
8,
a beast in general.
but yeah,
But yeah, it's just one of those mons where if you're Citadark, you need to worry about this thing. Obviously, it gets that Headlong Rush. You can't protect into anything it wants to do either, but it gets Headlong Rush, it gets Poltergeist, a couple of other good coverage moves into the Citadark team. So you want to be very, very, very careful if you're Crimson here.
to be fair, it doesn't really need coverage. Poltergeist hits literally everything. There is no resist on Crimson's team. But I mean, I'm looking at the Skarmory as a potentially really strong mon here. Like I know when it megas, it loses a lot of bulk, but into Crimson's team, there's not really a clear way to get it off the field. If you can get an Iron Defense off on this Skarmory, like this thing could kind of go insane. If you once you get Raichu off the board, because once you get Raichu off the board, nothing's really hitting it for stab super effective. So that'll be interesting to see.
I'm
Also
gonna
punishes any support Heteron.
I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can get in game if you wanna kind of just keep going on your thoughts.
Yeah, no, like I was saying, I mean, this Skarmory really seems to be the only real defensive threat on Crimson's team. Like, obviously Clefairy, but Clefairy, like at the end of the day, it's one thing, and it's more of a support mon. Whereas the Skarmory can get on the field, and it's kind of hard to remove, right? It's really it doesn't need to mega either, which is the interesting thing. We might just see Crimson keep this thing not mega, both for the Trick Room underspeeding, but also the increased bulk. Like once if this thing gets an Iron Defense off, there's really limited things you can do here. Like yeah, Raichu, yeah, Hatterene, but these aren't Pokemon that really are staying on the field, right? Like Skarmory does get Horn Drill, and I mean one of the partners can surely take Hatterene off if it's built for offense, and if it's built for bulk, then it's probably not damaging Skarmory. We are getting into game, though, so I will let you take over.
Alrighty, folks, we are officially in the game here. Obviously, I need to switch this around just because that's not how I have the thing set up. But now we are set to go. Um, Now I gotta tell them we're ready to go. But yeah, this is gonna be very interesting.
There's also some interesting fake out dynamics here with Infernape and then Weavile and Raichu, but that's kind of just, I mean, that's standard at this point. Everyone's got a fake out Pokemon.
Right. And I think it's interesting because like we look at both these teams in game, and I just have no thoughts. But we do see the Decidueye lead here from Fort Worth, Flygon, Crimson here, and the Rotom. And then the Raichu and a Hydreigon from Lilycove here. Turn 1 is looking pretty nice for Lilycove, just because that Hydreigon can hit into the Decidueye with the Fake Out into the Rotom, stopping it from really doing anything here. So Lilycove does have the advantage going into this turn 1.
Yeah, we are probably going to see fake out into Rotom though, which kind of gives Lilycove kind of the option to do, and we see a switch.
The Fake Out does go into the Rotom like we thought. Dark Pulse goes into the Clefable, not doing very much, only 19% into that
Oh,
Clefable switch. But the Nasty Plot Covert Cloak
oh,
Rotom comes out. Crimson now has some very good momentum with that Follow Me Clefable now.
yo, hold up. This is Crimson's cooking here. This is insane. No one saw this coming, and there's not really a clear way to get this off the field either. You can't hit it for stab super effective with anything. I guess, yeah, no, Raichu's resisted. Hydreigon's probably. I mean, Hydreigon's got to switch out, surely, right?
You cannot be
And
taking
helping
a
get an extra one
full
here kind of gets hard.
like a full stab Moonblast with your Hydreigon. Unless it has a berry, but even then, that's like risking a lot.
Yeah. To be fair, we haven't seen him really preserve the height. At least as far as I've seen, he usually just sacks the Hydreigon for Tailwind or something. So I don't know. Or look,
Lilycove definitely on their back foot, though. Obviously, this Rotom putting up a ton of pressure here. And that Follow Me does come out from the Clefable. Dark Pulse does 22% on a higher roll. Volt Switch into that Clefable as well, getting it down to 36% here. This is a very, very important turn for Lilycove, as it is whittling down this Clefable in an otherwise tough spot for
there's
Lilycove. And he gets that switch in.
you're switching either here because you have no idea what Rotom just clicked. Rotom can probably hit everything for at least neutral. I mean, I'd expect Weavile personally. That seems like the obvious switch in here, but
We're
I guess
definitely
it is
going.
Code, so there's no point in Weavile actually. But
Yeah,
I
we
don't
saw
quite
that
see
fake
what.
out not land into that Rotom correctly as
Yeah,
Lilycove wanted, and that Weavile
Weavile.
will come out here. Pressure, Hyper Voice
Oh,
Rotom for the spread damage, and this Clefable gets some leftovers recovery. Span?
yeah. This it's probably Specs Hydreigon as well. I think Scarf seems unlikely, all things considered, and Dark Pulse is kind of actually doing numbers on this Clefable. But
Yeah, it's been whittling it down. Fake out comes
oh,
out into that Clefable though, flinch, and now this Hydreigon will get the Dark Pulse into that as intended.
see Rotom pick up a KO.
And the
Presumably,
leftovers
Raichu
recovery
will
comes
back
out
out.
from that Clefable again, doing a little bit more heal than that fake out probably did otherwise. Raichu does cycle in for another fake out, being able to hit that Rotom here. Crimson's got to answer here with a couple of defensive turns or maybe a really strong offensive turn.
Protect on Rotom here unexpectedly could flip the game.
For sure. I think it's one of those things where if you have Nasty Plot Rotom, you expect the Protect Rotom as well, just because it's kind of your win con at this point in the game. You want it to be able to pick up as many KOs as possible, and
Yeah,
preserving this Rotom is going to be very important. And you kind of want to let this
probably does.
Clefable get out of the game here, just so you can preserve it.
Yeah, Rotom probably doesn't have Thunderbolt, I'd imagine, because Raichu is just always going to be a threat. But surely it has a Water type move for a Golurk.
For sure, and this Hydreigon now unexpectedly putting a lot of offensive pressure up for the Lilycove Latias here, and it's looking tough for Crimson. Um, you got anything?
I mean, there's a lot of ways forward here, right? Like obviously, Lilycove has to make the right play here. Like, sure, fake out Dark Pulse like seems good, but then you have to deal with whatever comes in after Rotom. And say it's something like Infernape, right? You just like Infernape probably has priority, and it's going to pick up the KO on Hydreigon. And I mean, KOing the Rotom, like maybe you KO the Rotom, but there's also a switch, and so if Lilycove makes the wrong play here, it could easily just snowball into a Crimson win. Like I think Lilycove is probably like for this turn it seems things are in control, but like say Lilycove tries to read a protect or tries to read a switch, the game could instantly go completely in the wrong direction.
Both players taking their time to think about this one. It is a very important turn for both teams, though. I can understand it. I was talking with Citadark earlier, and they said something about Decidueye being one of the key factors in this game. So it'll be interesting to see if he can actually get it set up. And the fake out into Clefable, Dark Pulse picks up the KO into that Rotom, and the flinch Clefable heals back that HP to exactly as much as it took, 39%, and this thing's still alive on the field.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of a whack play to me. I don't really know why we're just sacking the Rotom, but but I mean, it picked up a KO, almost took out Hydreigon,
And we
so it
see
did.
that
Yeah, we see
Infernape come
Infernape.
in here with that fake out pressure. It's also really, really fast, so it can kind of just do
Right.
whatever it wants here.
There's a
Outside
good
of,
chance we see this thing click a U-turn, I think, into Hydreigon.
for
So I do
sure,
think Lilycove will try to preserve it, and I do expect this Infernape to be scarfed, to be honest. Um,
that's a crazy read.
well, okay, but like maybe it isn't, but like the fake out pressure isn't really doing much for you, yeah? Like if you wanted the fake out pressure, you would have just let Rotom go down, protected Clefable, and then let it switch, you know?
And I feel like there's some other offensive plays you can make as well, because you still have this Clefable preserved, and it can click that follow me at least one more time, so you can also get some damage into that other slot outside of Hydreigon. But we do see the
Yeah, I mean,
Slowking come in here, and the fake out
we
into
don't.
Raichu doing 30%, and the follow me comes out here. Very neutral turn, kind of for
What a play.
both players.
Fake out into follow me is crazy work when your opponent's locked into Dark Pulse. That's it's nutty work.
Crimson making a little bit of a misplay there, but it's okay. He still has some pretty
Jumps up.
decent momentum as long as he. But we see the Volt Switch crit, and this
That
Infernape
Chris
is now under 30% with the Slowking threatening
is
really
really
good
extra.
pressure on that speed control from Trick Room.
Oh, this could be Golurk, I guess. Golurk switching in on a Slowking Trick Room.
For sure. And I think it's
They taunt out of Clefable. Chilling water on Clefable into Raichu here would be the read of a century, but I don't think Crimson even brought it.
I don't think
That's
so
some type
either.
of strategy.
I think this
But
Clefable is pretty set in its ways. It wants to click follow
yeah,
me no matter
but
what.
it
But we see
is
the Hatterene come out here. Throat Chop
Rotom
crits into the Slowking.
mirroring crit
But we see the
on
Encore not really do anything, and the Trick Room does get up for this Hatterene. Now Lilycove has taken complete advantage of the momentum that he gained earlier in the game, and now he's in a very good spot with this Hatterene and Slowking on the field, being able to pivot
the
even with
Encore
the
threat into
Slowking.
Trick Room. Can you hover over the Pokemon real quick? Catch the speed tiers. I don't actually know how fast. 58 and 112. Well, Iron Ball Clefable would go hard. We don't. Oh no, we know it's leftovers. Never mind. This guy's buns. That was the most insane encore I've ever seen, considering you underspeed the Raichu. But
We've seen Lilycove kind of take back the momentum here as Crimson
yeah,
has made
fake
a couple of
out
misplays in a row, and now he's kind of on his back foot here. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets out. But we see that Protect come out from the Infernape. Dazzling Gleam goes into the Clefable, doing 33% with the Scald picking up the KO from the Slowking. Lilycove really commanding the lead here.
Surely this is an Iron Ball Decidueye. There's no other reason you switch this in, yeah.
We're commentating, gang. We got to be commentator about it. But yeah, I think this
Yeah, I
Decidueye
mean,
putting up some good pressure into this Hatterene and Slowking, just as it has the ability to hit both super effectively. And this Infernape still a sitting duck here in Trick Room as it can't really move before any of these other two Mons, or other three
yeah.
Mons.
think Crimson's kind of lost the plot here because I mean, you can't even pick up a KO here. If you say we did pick up a KO, you just let Golurk switch in.
And I
And say
think
you picked up a double KO somehow, you're letting Golurk switch in with Raichu.
and I think there's something to be said about Crimson protecting on that Infernape. Maybe he wants to stall out some Trick Room turns, but now he's got to think of a very good switch if that is what he was thinking about, because you cannot let
Yeah,
this Infernape stay in here.
letting Clefable go down is kind of. I guess Clefable isn't a regenerator mon, so it's kind of dead in the water anyway. But
I think the only
I
way
mean, I don't know. We've
Clefable is helpful here
bad
is
turn
if you
with
have Life
game.
Dew or some sort of healing. Um,
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're too fast. This is where Clefairy would have gotten crazy.
but I'm very interested to see what this Decidueye can do. It is about the only form of like or momentum Citadark has on the field here.
I
Lilycove
mean, I
kind of
think
just looking to spam D-Gleam as much as possible, for the most part.
I mean, I that D-Gleam did like a ton into Clefable. I'm wondering if this Clefable just had no special defense investment.
It would.
Although I don't really know what else it would have. I guess defense investment for Golurk, but
It's also interesting because this Hatterene could be Spexed or life or not life orbed though, so it could very well be Specs for all we know. But Hatterene
I yeah,
does
no,
hit very
this
very
I
hard.
like for sure. We like that's for sure a thing. That thing was choiced.
But if you're Lilycove here, you're in a very good commanding position. Just because you're in the driver's seat like all the way, you can kind of do whatever you want
You
here, and
can
you've
like
saved that
literally any
Hydreigon even. And we see the Protect come out from Decidueye, stops the
here.
Mystical
I mean,
Fire into the Decidueye, and the Psychic Noise.
whoa,
Crimson
the
does
double.
get some very good momentum here,
Oh, but this is so bad though. This is just
giving
horrible for
Lilycove the
Crimson.
free switch into a Golurk if he chooses.
If he'd clicked Flare Blitz into Headshred, I think maybe we would have had something. But I think giving Golurk the switch in here is diabolical work. Unless this is like somehow a Decidueye that's underspeeding Mega Golurk, like where it's
Right,
handling a hit from Headshred.
right, but we see this Golurk in the field now. Two turns of Trick Room. Infernape can protect here, but this Golurk just wants to hit into that Decidueye slot anyways.
He does
And
protecting
it's
it through it.
and
This
this
is
Decidueye is just gonna take two super effective moves regardless, unless he can get another double protect into a switch on turn one of
and
Trick
Rock
Room.
Slide to Golurk kind of goes hard here.
D-Gleam does
That's
pick up the KO into Infernape here and chips that Decidueye, and Poltergeist should pick up the KO, and it does very
what was
easily. Golurk picks up another KO, and now Fort Worth is on Skarmory and Tyrantrum time with one turn of Trick Room left. It will be
really
interesting
tight
to
range
see what he does here.
Iron Ball. We could see Crimson click Tailwind here. That'd be interesting. We won't, but it'd be interesting.
Right, and I think that there's
Actually,
something to be
for
said
Tailwind,
about.
he kind of needs the Tailwind here. Like that might be the only way to win the game is to make a read here.
I think there's something to be said about it here. This Skarmory obviously is just a sitting duck. Takes a Mystical Fire and it's just dead. Headlong Rush picks up the KO into Tyrantrum and Lilycove will
Nice.
just take the game from there. A 10-turn game with Lilycove taking advantage of his opponent's misplays. And
And
now he's
turn
going
Trick
on to
Room.
play Dakota and the Lavender Town Lampent for a 5-game series in round 1 of the Rotom Conference.
Bro, we really just saw this is the shortest Trick Room game I've seen in my life, bro. 10 turns? That's nutty.
We got to talk about your stream etiquette
Turn
later,
5
bro.
Trick Room
We're talking
is
about your stream etiquette later. You're just shitting on everyone.
I'm shitting on the
That's
guy who
crazy,
just
bro.
went from having a full like 80 like a full fucking 80% HP lead into losing 4-0.
And it's so crazy because early on Lilycove did not have any momentum in their favor, and
Oh,
we
Lily
see
Cope was dead in the water.
and we see Rotom Decidueye here. Not a great lead, but then Fake Out goes into Rotom. We see the Dark Pulse go into that Clefable on a defensive read, and the Nasty Plot goes up, right?
And this is
And
looking phenomenal. This is looking borderline winning.
we see the Follow Me come out. This Rotom kind of just doing whatever it wants to here, and Volt Switch will come out from that Lilycove though. And then Weavile puts pressure up. And I'm gonna go ahead and
Will
see.
Fable not have Protect?
Maybe not. Lilycove did
Why?
say they will come on for an interview. If you want to go
Oh.
ahead and spitball whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely an interesting game. I mean, I've seen few like this. Because like in the past, we've seen we honestly, I'd say some of Crimson's better games have been into Trick Room. To be honest with you, and like, sure, maybe those were specific, but like generally, he does fine. This seems like a drastic under preparation from him. Like, cause like I'm no like Crimson Glazer or anything, but like he usually does better than this. This is like uncharacteristically bad of him.
For sure.
No, if it like
And I think it's to the point where it's
the
like,
crit on Inferno can help, but
I think it's to the point with the Citadark Night Terrors where you got to consider like taking those lower odds for that draft for next season because that is a very important season for Crimson to kind of nail. And this dazzling gleam every time doing 33% was absurd.
right, this table had to be full. You think Crimson knows about the EV? I've recently it's actually recently been revealed to me by the second coaches that apparently the way EVs work, you actually like if you do it in Champions format EVs, you actually only get like it counts it as if it was 32 of the normal ones.
Right, right. And I told Munoz about that when we were prepping because I was like, yeah, no, this is a thing you should not do. Do not do that. But it's interesting because I'd love to ask Crimson now if what was going on with that Clefable. Genuinely,
Yeah,
I'd want
truly,
to know that spread.
because
But
like the
this
Inferno is doing numbers, the Clefable just
this Hatterene just oh my gosh. We just saw this Hatterene put in all of the work for Lilycove once again. I know I talked about it earlier before the game. But yeah, no. Nimble is
Right,
actually
this is
here with
your
us
Rotom
now.
wash tech too. This is the nasty plot shenanigans you taught him to do. This is
Welcome
Oh,
to
you gave him
the
that? That shit scared me, dude. I was not feeling that.
welcome to the stream, Nimble. Congrats on that win
yeah.
against Citadark here. Obviously, turn one, you were down really bad on momentum on a really good read from Crimson here,
Hmm.
but you ended up coming back really strong. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I was not loving the start there. Definitely. I had a feeling like that the clef switch was going to happen, but I wasn't willing to make the read. And I paid for it a little bit for sure. But hey, it worked out in the end. The trick room got the trick room set up. That was the biggest thing, obviously. And Hatterene, yeah, put in a lot of work.
Right, and
Yeah, if
obviously
you get
now
the trick room set up, you can even drop a Pokemon to get the Go Lurk
Hmm.
switch in, and then you just kind of sweep from there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Golurk was just by the end of it, it was like, all right, now we're pretty much good. It's yeah, but there were
Just
there
like
were there were a few moments there I was more worried before I saw that he was like using hyper voice, and then I was like, well, now I'm a little bit less worried. But that clef was so annoying. I was
I
not
actually
enjoying
was
that
pretty
at all.
impressed with the hyper voice, but
I
I
mean, it did good like spread damage in general, but like I was more worried that I was just everything I calced other than that, I was like, if he just makes the right read, anything's dead on switch in.
right,
But
yeah.
right.
yeah,
But
it ended up working.
obviously, if we can move on to the actual interview portion of this, here we go. So obviously, you just won your play-ins up around. You're going to play Dakota, your division rival, who you split
Big.
1-1 in the regular season. Obviously, the in-season tournament doesn't count towards your total record.
Mhm.
Um, but how you feeling going into that matchup?
Dakota, I'm feeling okay. I was saying this to somebody recently. The challenge is when you played somebody this many times, I feel like it's hard to think of ways to mix it up, to not just default to the same stuff because he knows how a lot of my stuff works, but I don't want to you don't want to get too cute with it. So I'm feeling okay. I mean, he's got an awesome team. He's got a really good team. That first match first game of the season, I think, he would say he probably feels like he threw a little bit because he, faked out on into my goaler twice. But but he definitely played a lot better in the last one that we had. So, it's gonna be a challenge. He won the division for a reason.
Right, and obviously you've been in playoffs before. You've played your fair share of best of fives at this point.
Mhm.
How much do you think that's going to affect how you play in this postseason?
I do think that it encourages me to be a little bit more patient with and really study the matches a lot more match to match, just to see like if I can notice any patterns. The nice thing about
You're watching
playing
tape?
somebody, what's up,
You're watching tape? Wait, that's crazy.
That's what I do, man. No,
That's what
I
Really?
genuinely,
anybody who
I,
wants
oh,
to win
I
does.
see people talk about it. I'm like, I watch tape like probably a little too much sometimes because I can get a little too like in my head about it, but um. Yeah, no. For Dakota, I was like I've watched it like way too many times at this point. I'm like I'm tired of seeing this Charizard on my screen. But I feel like I have to win it because he's a good player. He's got a really good team, and I need to see if I can find like what are ways that other people have taken advantage of things, and gotten the edge on him.
Obviously, with all of us being a part of some best of five in one form or another, um, are you super nervous going into this one? Just because, like, you know the stakes, you know how hard it can be
Mm,
to prep for a team 5 times, potentially
yeah.
3 times in a row, maybe.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm nervous. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Just because the last loss to him, I put a little bad taste in my mouth. So I want to hopefully have a better showing. If anything, I'm excited. I'm excited that it's not a one and done. Right, this game I kind of went in and I was like, well, I got to win this one. And now I feel like
And to be fair,
it's
you didn't
weird.
have
Like
to win this one.
it felt like I
You
had
had
to.
losers bracket for play-ins. You could have been
It,
facing Pekinor in playoffs.
oh, that's exciting. That sounds fun.
Everyone
Yeah,
wants to face Pickinor.
dude,
Who would ever want to
I'm heated,
willingly
man.
go run the ones?
But yeah,
No, I hope he wins, and I'll beat Dakota, and then I'll beat him, and then we'll move forward. But for
That's
now,
all right. He's not
I'm like,
making it.
give me one best of five and under my belt. Gotta
Yeah,
get
yeah.
it out of
Don't
the
worry,
way.
I got you covered. Pekinor's not
Yeah,
making it.
that's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
man.
I'm breaking his kneecaps.
Yeah.
talking about the actual match you played, this Hatterene kind of carried its weight more than
Mhm.
a lot of every other Pokemon on your team. Once again, like this Hatterene's just hitting like a truck. Do
Yeah.
you mind sharing like insights on this Hatterene at all?
Yeah, it's funny because it had some other stuff. I'm not too worried about like I'll share it just because I wanted to. I really wanted to be able to use the hat for a lot of different like stuff on coverage. So the hat was like it matched up really well into a lot of mons that he had. So, and I honestly had a few mons that I felt like I needed. I just didn't have the right kind of coverage on them. Honestly, I was really struggling putting the last bit of this team together. Like Hydreigon, I could not figure out if I wanted to bring them or Scizor or Decidueye or anybody. Like I was all over the place with it. But for Hat, I was like, no, this is like we're full offense. Just for the damage, and I actually had Giga Drain for the Rotom, but they never were on the field at the same time where it made sense. Because I was like, okay, I'm I'm learning the things that my team struggles with, some of these bulky physical walls, bulky waters, all that stuff. Needs some ways around it. So like Hat gets some moves that end up actually being useful against mons like Rotom, Sandaconda. Didn't get a chance to show it in this case, but if I led with it, I probably could have, which I was originally going to lead like Slowking Hat. But that Decidueye was just like not a good matchup in that regard at all.
For sure. Well, I think that's all the questions I have. If you have a couple questions you want to ask Span, you can ask those and then wrap
I
it up.
mean, no, I'm awestruck still by the fact that Trick Room went up and you just won it in under 4 turns.
Yeah, I mean, it's partly the Golurk effect.
I mean,
It's like
sure.
I feel kind of bad. I feel bad about it because I've been at the end of the day, I didn't know that it did all that. I didn't know that it wasn't nerfed. But in this game, it felt like honestly, like you said, Hat did do a lot of work as well. So
I would argue Hatterene's kind of rivaling Golurk here, right?
mm,
Like
Yeah,
for Mon of the like team captain of your draft.
yeah, yeah. Hat's like just I'm just gonna chip everything like crazy. Golurk's like if I'm on the field, I'm just one shotting it. It doesn't really matter what it is.
yeah.
But yeah, Hat's really good, man. Slipped on it. That throat chop was a really good tech by him as well on the Infernape. I did start to get a little bit
I mean, the
queasy
when he
current
had
event.
when he had the ape and Decidueye on the field, I was like, he was like, it's taking a lot of time for a game that's already decided, and I was like, I need to like think through this to make sure I'm not choking anything. I don't want to
yeah.
throw in best of
Dude, I was
one, you know.
expecting like something.
But
Like
yeah,
not
So I
nothing.
guess,
I was expecting literally anything
yeah,
from Crimson here, and then it was just like the most boring Infernape set
that's
of
all I
all
got
time.
for today, though. So, yeah, no, congrats on winning
yeah,
this game. Congrats on moving on to playoffs for your second
I'm good.
playoffs berth of DLP history.
Heck
And I
yeah,
wish you the best of luck.
thanks so much. Appreciate you
Mhm.
guys. Thanks for your, or appreciate you all. Thanks for your time.
Yep.
Yep.
See you in
Later.
semis.
See you there. Later.
Well, that was a pretty eventful game span. What do you think?
Hey, it was a roller coaster.
Yeah, no, I
Catches you off
was
guard and immediately falls off a cliff.
Crimson locked in and then like immediately unlocked in. But yeah, no, that's the
Crimson played
DLP for
3
you.
phenomenal turns and then dropped the ball harder than it's ever like dude, I lost a 5v2 and I'd say he dropped the ball harder.
Right. But yeah, no, that's all I got for today. I'm Clomps. That's Spanish. Thanks for watching, y'all. Till next time.